remain in the Women's World Cross Country Championship, the long race, the tough one, the competitive one. If you think about it, Paula came back from the Olympic Games where she was so impressive. She ran a great race, leading for 24 of the 25 laps, and she really pulled on people's heartstrings when she ran so well. She ran so bravely in those Olympic Games. She doesn't like you talking about her running bravely. She likes you to talk about her running well. Well, I thought she ran extremely well in the Olympic Games. And since then, she came back. She won the Great North Run. She won the World Half Marathon. She won all of her cross-country races except one. And ominously, the athlete that beat her in the one that she didn't win is in front of her there. That's Lydia Cheremai, the leader.
The leading group down to 5 then. Denboba of Ethiopia, the one who's been dropped off the back of what is a very high quality leading group now. And really this, I guess, the point of the race where Paula, if she did have a race plan, might have been thinking, okay, this is the point I might want to start to try and wind it up. We talk so often, as Brendan said, about the fact that she always seems to get picked off in the latter stages by somebody with better speed. That counts on the track, but much less so in cross-country. Much easier to make your strength tell. And Paula will have to take a decision herself as to how she's feeling, as we see Denboba there, as I said, off that lead group now. And that's significant. Former silver medalist herself, Denboba, and that just shows you the sort of pace that they're running at.
That's one less to worry about for Paula Radcliffe. The leading group now down to 5. 3 Kenyans, Chepchumba, Cheremai, Chepkamai, the tiny figure of Gita Wami, and now Paula Radcliffe has decided to take over the lead. She's had a real purple patch since the Olympic Games. Her confidence is sky high. These are not her chosen preferred conditions, but she knows the cross-country championships will turn up however they turn up, and if you're going to win it, you've got to be the best athlete on the day. You've got to react to the race. You've got to be competitive in the race. As we watch Belka Chem and Yev Tich going through the shot there, and looking further down the field, we're looking for the next British athlete. That's Liz Yelling, but you can see now at this stage the athletes are tired. They've worked very hard. Dina Drossen, the American, there just in the shot, and there we're seeing what these athletes face as Paula Radcliffe now begins to lead and begins to try and impose her character and her personality and her strength on this race. Less than 2 miles remaining. Paula Radcliffe in a familiar position in the lead with the athlete who tracked her in the World Championships at 10,000 metres, Gita Wami, the world champion, who beat her in the Olympic Games in that 10,000 metres. And has Paula got a chance here? Has she got the strength? Look at that bit. She's clearly not enjoying it, but none of them are. And if it comes to determination and guts and bravery, if that's what's going to determine this race, then I think she's got a chance to win it.
Well, she must be well aware that as they complete this loop, and they'll come round again towards the grandstand, come down the home straight, and then there will be just 1 lap to go. And that's when you would expect things to heat up even more, and Paula is not going to take the pressure off. She really is making sure that, as Brendan said, it's going to be a real test of strength and character. Just to take you further down the field, Liz Yelling, we now know, has moved up to 21st place. She's improving all the time. And Hayley Yelling in 28th position, Tara Krzyzewicki 41. They're the first 4 counters for Great Britain, as Paula again trying to step her way through round those puddles. It's very rutted as well. The trucks have been round here, and it really is difficult. And occasionally, at this stage of the race, when you're tired, that upsets your rhythm so much, and it just saps your energy, doesn't it?
She'll tell us afterwards that she hated that bit of the course, but actually she gets through it. She loses ground on it. She's not very happy with it. She loses ground and then tries to close it again, and she's managing to do that. As once more, the Kenyan athlete who beat Paula Radcliffe earlier in the season takes over, comes back into the lead, and at no point yet has the champion Gita Wami at any point taken over the lead. She just sat in there, sat behind Paula Radcliffe. This is a familiar position for Gita Wami. She knows how strong Paula is. She knows that she's got a faster finish than Paula Radcliffe. And there now the group, there's a bit of a move. There's the group now down to 3. And they're the 3 favourites, if you like. It's Cheremai, who's been winning races all season. It's Paula Radcliffe, who's only lost 1 race this season, and that was to Cheremai. And it's Gita Wami, who's won the World Cross Country Championship on 2 occasions, beat Paula Radcliffe in the Olympic Games, beat her in the World Championships. She is the world 10,000 metre champion, and those 3 were beginning to just edge away from Chepkamai, the other Kenyan.
Chepkamai struggling to hang on to these 3. Pamela Chepchumba has already given up. She's now finding herself adrift in 5th place. So is it just down to 4? And certainly one of them looks as though maybe she's struggling. For the first time for me, Lydia Cheremai looking as though she's looking a bit tired, having a little look round there. Maybe this is the time for Paula Radcliffe to really turn up the heat.
Well, I think she's running really well. I think when she gets a chance, and when the mud allows her to run freely, she seems to be floating. She seems to be running really, really powerfully and extremely strongly. But then she has a few problems around those corners. She has some problems with that deep mud. She's clearly moving from side to side to try and get an even run. And the question for me is, can she get rid of Gita Wami before we come to the finishing run-in? The contest will be between those two. Cheremai, I think you're right, Steve. I think she's having a little bit of a problem, and Paula Radcliffe does look strong. She's certainly as competitive as you've ever seen her, and you would think now at this point there are 4 of them. She's in familiar territory. She's close to the lead. She hears the bell, and I remember that just reminds me of Sydney when she heard the bell in Sydney. 400 metres to remain, 6 people around her, and she finished 4th in that particular race. She's clearly going to be in the first 4 here because there's only 4 athletes left. But is she strong enough, and does she have a plan? Can she run it strongly, and can she hurt them?
Well, she's got the best part of a mile, over a mile, 1.8 kilometers left in order to hurt them as much as she can. And I think you're right, Brendan, she is going to have to keep the pressure on and keep trying to pull away. Can just see her maybe opening up a metre or so. But you have to say that Gita Wami looks comfortable. I think Cheremai is working hard. I certainly think that Chepkamai is working hard as well to stay with Paula Radcliffe, and Paula really is making a bid for it now. You can see her stretching out there. This round the back part of the course is where probably the going is about as bad as it gets. When they get through this next 100 metres, they'll start to find a lot of mud there, and you can just see that the cadence has changed. She's picked up the pace, but Wami is still there.
She's just coming up to the bit of the course that we've seen her struggle with on the last few laps. She hates this piece of the course, but she really is making a determined effort. And it looks as though again Cheremai is coming renewed again. She does have the experience of beating Paula Radcliffe, and there you can see the two, the Kenyan and the Ethiopian, are just finding it a little easier on this particular piece. Paula's moved to the outside. She's looking for a bit of ground that's going to give her some help. She's clearly unhappy on the deep mud on the inside, but she's not getting any advantage from it. And Gita Wami, I noticed there, glanced across just to see what Radcliffe was doing, why she moved away to the outside. What is she trying to do? Is she trying to make a break? Well, I think she is trying to make a break, and I think Wami is beginning to be concerned about covering it. And there she goes. There goes Radcliffe. There goes Wami, and Cheremai on her shoulder. Now, this is the bit. How determined is she? How safe is she there in that place? Can she make a really long run for home? She's going to have to break clear before they come back onto the racetrack. And you can see here they're on the far side of the course. There are a couple of more bad bits, and then they level out and come onto the race course itself. Wami looks across there in full concentration. Gita Wami and Paula Radcliffe.
What a familiar sight. Paula Radcliffe trying to burn off the best of the world's distance runners. I think she's got rid of 2 of them. I think Lydia Cheremai now struggling. The only person left on her shoulder, the familiar figure of Gita Wami. Wami has been a thorn in the side of Paula Radcliffe right throughout her career, whether it's on the track or on the cross country. And Paula Radcliffe doing her resolute best here. Nothing less we'd expect from Paula, nothing else you get from Paula. She really does know when to strike hard, and she really will give 100%. We know that. Will it be enough though? There's still enough distance left in this race for her to get rid of Wami, but you have to say that the Ethiopian still looks relatively comfortable.
Well, in the last 4 runnings of the World Cross Country Championship, 97 and 98, Paula Radcliffe beat Gita Wami. 99 and 2000, Gita Wami beat Paula Radcliffe. So these two have been here in the last 4 years together, but this really is the effort from Paula Radcliffe. She knows she has to get rid of Wami. She's been here before. This was just like it was in Seville in the World Championships. Radcliffe leading, Wami chasing her. There's a little bit of a gap. First time there's been a bit of daylight between them, and Wami's now having to work to close on Paula Radcliffe. But sadly for Paula, just at the point where the gap appeared, she comes onto the bit of the course that she's having the most difficulty with.
I think you're right, Brendan. I think where that's a part of the course where she was able to really get some firm footing. You get the sense that Wami for the first time is really just beginning to feel this a little bit. And look at there again, Paula just using that little rise there to try and kick off the top. This is flat now. What can she do here? Can she try and use this bit of good ground underfoot? It's only 50, 60 metres or so. And then as they come round the rest of that loop, she'll know that they'll be heading towards that home straight, and then a run in down to the finish of about 300-400 metres. But Wami is experienced. She also knows that as well. She's probably thinking, I've just got to hang on here. This is hurting me as much as it's hurting Paula Radcliffe. But if I can hang on, I've got the pace and the speed in the latter stages.
Just did you see that really? She just took that chance there when the going was decent, when the going was firm. She was almost sprinting across it, and that was Paula Radcliffe's real. Was it her last chance? Wami seems to be unconcerned. She wasn't bothered by the fast bit. She's not seemed to be as bothered as Paula Radcliffe is. Both of them are having difficulty now because this course is really well churned up. But Wami knows she just has to stay in contention. She just has to stay on Paula Radcliffe's shoulder. She knows she's got the finish, but I don't think Paula Radcliffe need worry. She's definitely going to get a medal, and she's definitely going to lose no fans. This is Paula Radcliffe at a brilliant best. Once again, just trying to win it. This course is not suiting her. I think I've seen her run better on other types of courses, and as they level up, the signs are that Geeta Wami hasn't been shaken off and looks to be strong enough. The first thing she'll do when they level up, she'll just remind Paula Radcliffe that she's there, and that will be the first chink in the armour for Paula.
Well, they're into the home straight. There's about 350 metres to go. The grandstand will be in sight. The finish line will be in sight. Paula just looking up, seeing where it is. She's working as hard as she can possibly work. But you have to say that Wami is just sitting there comfortably now, waiting for the right moment to strike. She probably won't leave it too late, as Brendan was saying, just letting Paula know. Paula obviously knows that she's there. She's working as hard as she can, will fight all the way to the line, we know that. But Wami just possesses that little bit of extra pace. Wami, who won this title in 1996, won it again in 1999. Paula Radcliffe has been second on 2 other occasions before, behind Doratu Tulu and Sonia O'Sullivan. No disgrace whatsoever to finish second to Wami. She's not going to give this one up though. She's fighting hard. This is a real gutsy effort from Paula Radcliffe. Wami just holding her off at the minute. Paula Radcliffe is striking again. Paula Radcliffe is going away. Will it be gold this time for Paula Radcliffe? It's going to be. Paula just 20-30 metres from the finish. What a marvellous finish. She's really upset the form book there, not by her win, but the nature of the win. Paula Radcliffe winning in the last 200 metres when, I have to be honest, Brendan, probably like yourself, I was thinking, Wami's just going to go past here, Cheremai's going to come in for the bronze medal, but what a run there by Paula Radcliffe, the world champion, the title she's always wanted to win, and she did it with a sprint finish.